Chosen Vessels, what's the deal? It's your main man, Druuill, and I'm back at you again with another video. Let's get right into it. Shout out to the Galactic family, the GCVs, and of course, Drew Nation. Let's do our thing. They want you to treat them like royalty because anything else is beneath them and not good enough for their liking. They want you to treat them like royalty, all right? Because the normal interaction you have with them isn't good enough, all right? They are not happy with you interacting with them as normally as you possibly can. They want you to treat them like they are the king of this or the queen of that. And they expect you to do that, and they expect everyone around them to do that. You'll see people who will be in a group where there will be the loudest person, a ha 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 ha, a he. Everyone has to be paying attention to this person. Everyone has to be doing what this person wants. No one can do what they want around this person without this person having something to say about it. You go off to do your own thing. This person is going to think that you don't think that they're important, or that they're going to think that you're their enemy. They're going to think that you don't feel they're worthy, or you don't recognize their superior existence compared to your own. And they feel that they're owed this. And unfortunately, a lot of this stems from what people didn't get in their childhood. When people don't get certain things in childhood, they sometimes revert to, and this is why I always say they use their tactics as a defense mechanism. And this is why I always say they don't self-reflect. And this is why I say they don't self-regulate. They don't reflect, and they don't regulate. Two R words that would serve anybody justice, that would make anybody's life better. So if it would make anybody's life better, because everybody has something with them that they need to fix, that they need to change. It's not just a narcissist that needs to work on themselves and change, and because other people aren't narcissists, they're perfect. If you're not a narcissist, you could also use some change in your life, and you could also use some self-reflection, some self-improvement, some work, some self-work. So we're not just here to bombard narcissists with criticism, but one thing about them is that they are going to require you to treat them a certain way, and when you don't, you become an enemy to them. It's because they start to feel threatened, not only by you, but by the amount of attention you're giving them, because it reminds them of what they didn't get when they were a child. And this is why self-improvement is important and self-reflection is important. Everyone has trauma in life. Everyone has childhood trauma. Everyone has any kind of trauma that you could imagine. Everyone has things. You know what I feel is appropriate? Everybody has things that they need to fix about themselves, all right? It's not just narcissists, but one thing that would benefit them is to realize that people aren't going to treat you how you want to be treated. They may respect you from a distance. And that's why another thing that I'm always saying is that it's okay for people to not treat you how they want. They should just stay away from you. If someone doesn't want to treat you the way you feel you deserve, the least they could do is stay away from you and stay out of your presence, and just keep away from you. That's all. If you don't want to look, if someone's not going to look at you the way you would like them to, you stay away from them, they stay away from you, and there's no issue. But for people with this disorder, when you don't treat them the way they want, they bring it to your doorstep. You don't acknowledge them, they're going to make you to. And that's why they feel that they need to be treated like royalty, because you're giving them the sensation, and you're giving them the sensation that they felt when they were a child, and they're feeling scared, they feel threatened, they feel alone, they feel abandoned, they start to feel like that child that didn't get enough. And I know we talk about them acting like children, but it's not right to just come at them at one side and not talk about also that they're people who are in need of care. But the thing is, they cut themselves off from that, because what they do is they take out on others what they don't have, what they didn't get, and they make their trauma and their issues other people's problems. All right. And sometimes we all do this. You know, you may be stuck on a particular story or subject, and you may continue to talk to someone about it. And it's like maybe the 20th time you've mentioned it to them. And you may be so focused on it that you may not even realize that you've mentioned it to them over about 30, 40 times, you know. God bless those people in our lives that are there to have an ear for, you know, what we have to say, so that way we don't feel alone, and someone can help us out with something that we may be going through. But the thing about it is, if they're not there to hear what you have to say, you don't fault them for it. If they're not there to care for you right in this moment, at this moment in time, you don't think that they don't care about you at all, and you're not willing to cut them off because you couldn't get from them what you needed from them in that particular moment, or because it seems like they may not be paying attention. It may be something they're focused on, or they may have a life. We're not forcing this person to hear what we have to say. We're not forcing ourselves on this person to hear what we have to say, and we're not taking it out on them because they may be preoccupied, don't care, have too much time, or just dealing with something of their own that they need more time and attention to focus on other than somebody else and what they're going through. So that's the difference between them. That's the difference between a person who is narcissistic and feels that they are royalty compared to others. Now, we also feel that we are royalty, but it's not from a narcissistic point of view. We feel we're royalty in the sense of, let us be the best that we can be and uplift others as an example to show them what they should be looking for and finding within themselves. You may view yourself as royalty, but it's only because you're a child of God, and you know why you're royalty. You know why you feel that way about yourself. You're not putting yourself above others. You know that you're in a line. You know that you're in line with other kings and queens and other special, important people who should feel that they're royalty. The way you look at it is you feel everybody should be royalty. And there's nothing wrong with looking at it from that point of view. You feel that you're royal. You feel that the other people are also kings and queens and deserve to feel that way about themselves. But the one thing you don't do is force that on to other people. If somebody is treating you like a less than, that's okay, as long as it's not being taken out on you. Like, if they look at you a certain way, hey, it is what it is. Everybody's going to look at people differently. Some people may view you one way. Some people may view you another way. But that's not something that you really care about. A person could view you however they want, but you're not the type of person that's going to make a big deal out of it. Okay, so what? They view me how they want to view me. Okay, so what? They don't look at me the way I would like them to. But the thing about it is, I mean, you honestly could care less. You're the type of person that could care less, because if someone's not going to view you the way you would like them to, you can just move on, live your life, and you'll look at yourself that way. That's the difference between someone who knows their royalty versus someone who needs to be seen as royalty. All right, we all need to be seen as something. We're all here on this planet Earth. We all have an idea about ourselves, and we would all like to be viewed a certain way. But the thing about you is, if you're not viewed that way, you're like, oh, well, okay, kick rocks. I'll go where I'm appreciated. I'll stay to myself. I'll view myself that way. I know I'm royalty. I don't need you to see that. If you'd acknowledge it, it would be nice. But, I don't need you to, and you don't need anyone to. But there are those out there who will force others to see their crown. And if you don't, wow, look at that crown. Like, we all got crowns on, but they want you to stop looking at your crown, stop acknowledging your crown, exchange in your crown to pay attention to theirs. They want you to take your crown off, put it on your chest, and bow your head and get on the knee just because they walked past you. And that doesn't make sense. No one is out here doing that for anyone, but they feel they deserve that. They feel they're worthy of that. And they usually set themselves up around people who will treat them like that. When you watch movies and you look at groups, and there's the little bully dynamic, or the dynamic where there's the group of people and they're all aiming against one person. All right, I saw somebody comment Mean Girls. I ain't never watched that movie. Maybe I should, because of the dynamic in it. Maybe if I did watch it, I'd have been put on some game early on in life, but I don't know. I couldn't find myself interested in it at the time when it came out. I probably should have. But anyway, it is what it is. All right, yeah, they always have people who will listen to them. It's like Ed, and Eddie. He was the one dude he wasn't standing up for himself, and then Ed was he wasn't intelligent enough to stand up for himself. And the Triple D guy, or Double D, or whatever they called him, I called him Triple D. The Double D guy, he was just too timid. He was too timid to speak up for himself. And Eddie was the narcissist of the group, and he took full advantage of that. He took control over that. It was always his plan, always his agenda, always his idea. And the one Ed was he was a little out there. He wasn't smart enough to know what was going on. He was just going along with Ed. He was just happy he had some friends. All right. This is why you can't be desperate to have friends. This is why self-love is very important. And this is why also knowing people and knowing spirits is important. And also being able to have courage and standing up for yourself is also very important. Because what's his name? The Double D, he would always be around for the missions, but he would never really want to go on them. He'd be like, that's not a good idea, or I don't think we should be doing that. And he let him convince him into doing things he didn't want to do. And why did he convince them into doing things that they didn't want to do? Because he felt that they should be doing them. You can't make people do things, but people will, and that's why they choose people who they know that they can have power over, because they'll influence you to be manipulated. It's like they know they have this influence over you, and they take a person's allegiance and they use it to their own benefit. All right, I'm not going to say they use it against them, but it is it's not in the most positive way. I will say that. So that's why it's good to exercise your choices, exercise your freedom, and it's good to place yourself around people who you want to be around. And it's good to use your discernment and your judgment, because there are people who will zap you of your energy because they feel they're worthy of it and deserving of it, and feel that you should roll out the red carpet for them. And the only person that you should be rolling out the red carpet for is yourself, or somebody who's rolling out the red carpet for you, But they feel they're royalty. They feel everybody should bow down to them and worship the ground they walk on and treat them as such. All right, whether they got too much praise and they were spoiled, and everybody they know was complimenting them. Like, it's good to compliment people. It's good to allow people to know that there's good things about them. But then there are those who go overboard. You know, it's good to tell people that they're good, they're powerful. It's good to tell people good things about themselves, especially children. But a lot of these people who believe they're royalty, unfortunately, whoever was raising them did them a disservice, and they spoiled them in the sense of maybe they got them some nice new clothes and they told them that you're better than the other kids because of what they wear, or you're better than the other kids because of what I drive, or you're better. So one must realize that when people are acting like this and they're trying to convince everyone else to treat them that way, that this is something that was done for them when they were a child. They would be around other people and people would be filling their head up, telling them all these good things about themselves, which isn't bad, but it's not good to have them compare themselves to others because of it. You don't want a person growing up thinking that they're better than other people because of something. All right. So the other side of this is them not getting enough. Maybe they didn't get enough attention as a child. Maybe they didn't get enough love from their caregivers, but you're not supposed to take out how that has caused you to be on others. All right. Other people aren't going to be able to replace the love that you didn't get. All right. And that's what they're doing. They're demanding other people give them this amount of love, and they're trying to find it this way. So what you have to realize is that even though they feel they're owed this type of behavior, you don't owe them anything. They're going to come at you like you do because that's just the way they view their relations with people. They feel they're better than everyone and that everyone needs to answer their beckoning call. They feel that people should hold them to a higher esteem than themselves, and it shows through their behavior. All right. The way they feel things are supposed to go when they're around other people and with other people is that everything's supposed to go their way. Everyone's supposed to pay attention to them. They feel as if they're the only thing that matters. And we all know that everybody individually matters to themselves. Nobody should be more important to anyone than themselves individually, but they want to make themselves be more important to you than you. So with dealing with someone like that, there's going to be a lot of ignoring that takes place. And that's why they have beef with people who ignore them, because they're not getting what they feel they deserve, that attention, that, hey, look at me, I'm here. They want you to pay attention to them always, and they want you to have your focus on them always. All right. So when you look at it from a point of view of not being like that, it's like you don't understand it. You don't understand why this person wants to be treated like royalty. You see yourself as royalty too, and you see everybody else as how you see yourself. They see everybody else as being beneath themselves. All right. So that's something you have to realize. That's why they treat people the way they do, is because they feel that they're above everyone. All right. They're going to take on the idea that nobody else's life is important as theirs, and that people just need to go along and do what they say. And whoever doesn't go along with them and do what they say, these are the people that they have beef with. These are the people they have problems with. These are these are the types of people that they're going to continuously try to make them treat them like they're important. All right, some people aren't accepting of a good person because they feel that's not good enough. Even though you're a good person, even though you treat them with respect, they feel that's not good enough. They feel you owe them more. And when you don't give it to them, that's when the trouble starts. They're going to see you as a person that's problematic. And if a person sees you as being problematic just because you keep your attention and your energy to yourself or on what you have going on or something that you feel is important, this person is going to find an issue with that. All right, this person is not going to see what you have to do as important. It's all about them. All right, they're going to see it like, well, what I have going on is just important, or if not more important. So this person should be paying attention to me. This person should be putting all of that into me. But you don't have to do that. All right. So it's a personal problem that they have with other people. When they deal with people, they only want to be around people who are going to do this for them. If you're not going to treat them like they're better than you or more important than you or worship them, they're going to see you as a threat. And what they're going to do is they're not going to want to be around you for long. Once it gets past the point of trying to control you, and if they see it doesn't work, that's going to be too much work. So what they're going to do after that is they're going to move on to the next person, and they're going to deal with someone who can give them what they need. And this is why they only deal with certain people. They only place themselves around people who will give them what they need and who will treat them the way they feel they need to be treated. Because treating them how you would treat yourself is just not good enough. They feel they deserve more. And when people don't allow you to treat them like you would treat themselves, when they feel that it's something more from you that you need to give them, that's a red flag. All right. When people are desiring certain treatment from you and you don't give it to them, and they now cause a issue with you because of that, that's how you know you're dealing with one of those types of people. It's like nothing is good enough for them, and they need the last drop. It's like you give them a half, they want 3/4. You give them 3/4, they're gonna want a whole. Like you cut them something in half, they're gonna want yours and theirs. Theirs just isn't gonna be enough. And people like this you have to be careful of, because they will stress you out. All right, they'll make you feel as if you're not doing enough. And certain people like this get caught up in trying to do more and do more and do more to try to either please this person, to try to fix them or heal them in some type of way, because these people have gone through some things. And the difference is, whatever they go through, they make it other people's fault. So I went through something. You have to cater to my every need because I did. And because I did, I have the right to treat other people how I want, and also receive the type of treatment. But not only do I feel I have the right to receive it, I'm going to demand it as well. And there's nothing wrong with demanding how you want people to treat you. That's what people should do. You should demand respect, but not demand it in the way where it becomes toxic when a person is dealing with another person. Your personality should not be demanding in a toxic way. It should be demanding in a way to where people just treat you how they would want to be treated, not a way to where people have to feel like they're beneath you, or you're their king or queen, or they got to roll out the red carpet for you, or they got to walk on eggshells because of how you want to be treated, like you're some type of like you're royalty and they're not. All right, so see yourself as royalty when you're in the presence of these people. See yourself the way they do. Don't see yourself as being beneath anyone. All right, that's the number one golden rule. Don't see yourself as being beneath anyone. Somebody may have a domineering personality. All right, somebody may have a personality to where they feel they're better than other people. But just because this person is putting themselves above you doesn't mean you have to. You don't have to put anybody above you, and you shouldn't. But because of certain people's titles, because of certain things people have, because of certain people's position, they feel that they have this superiority over you. And it's different when you're at a job and somebody's a manager. You give them the respect as being a manager, but this person is not better than you because they are your manager. And if they're treating you in a way that's disrespectful, you have to call that out. You don't just let, because someone has a higher position than you, You don't allow someone to just talk to you any type of way. Oh, well, that's the manager. I'm not going to say anything to them because they're the manager. Oh, well, that's this. I'm not going to say anything to them because they're this and they have this position. That's fear. You don't want to be afraid of losing something to the point to where you'll treat somebody like royalty and see yourself as being beneath them, see yourself as a pauper. All right. A pauper back in the day was like a poor person, or like a beggar. All right. So you don't need to see yourself that way just because they hold themselves to a high esteem. And that's why it's important to hold yourself to a high esteem. Everybody should really feel good about themselves, but not to the detriment of others. You don't have to feel good off of somebody else feeling bad, but they do. They have to feel good off of somebody else's pain. And the reason why they do that is because of what they lack. And we all lack something. We all didn't get enough somewhere, some people maybe had something happen to them where they didn't get enough love, and now they're older and they're finding other ways to get that. But it has to be done in a positive way. It has to be done in a way that is good for everyone, and not in a way to where it's going to hurt someone else, because that person's not going to heal. And that's why these people will take out how they feel on you in a way that hurts you or others, is because they haven't healed yet. And they don't do self-reflection. They don't look within themselves and figure out what's wrong, because they don't think that there's anything wrong with them. And when people have this complex that they're royalty, it's like whatever I say goes. I'm always right. I can do no wrong. There's no mistake I've ever made. I thought I made a mistake, but then I looked and checked and I was still right. Like, these people will go to the grave feeling that they're right and there's nothing wrong that they can do. All right. So that's just their personality. You shouldn't take it personal, but what you should do is find a way to exist around it without them being able to make you feel bad about yourself or making you feel less than, because that's what they'll try to do. They'll use their personality, or they'll use what they went through as an excuse or justification as to why they could just treat people any kind of way. And you'll wonder and ask yourself, why is this person like this? Why are they treating people like this? What we have to remember and keep in mind is this person obviously went through something. So even though this person is narcissistic, you have to have somewhat type of empathy for them, or some type of understanding, just so you won't lose your mind. Not actually have understanding for them to the point to where you're like, oh, I feel bad for this person, but to the point to where you can accept, like, okay, this person is not healed, and that's who they're going to be, and I just have to not take it personal. It has nothing to do with me, but this is what this person went through, and they're using it as an excuse to try to treat everybody else how they want to, and you're just not going to let them treat you how they want. You may have to pull this person to the side, be like, hey, I see, you got something going on, but what you're going through is affecting me personally. It's starting to, what you're going through personally is starting to affect me personally, and something's got to change, because if it doesn't change, I'm going to have to make some moves, because this isn't good for me. And when a lot of people are aware that they're doing this, some people aren't aware that they're doing this. Some people you'll pull to the side and they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I have been going through some things. Some people are understanding. It's just a lot of stuff is stressful for people. And then you have some people who understand, are stressed, and just don't care, because they're aware of what's wrong with them. They know what needs to be fixed. They just can't deal with it, or don't care to deal with it, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that they have to uncover and that they have to mentally sort out, and not everybody's ready to do that. Some people are just ready to stay where they're at and act like how they feel doesn't exist. And this is why they'll have attitudes and give those attitudes out and just expect people to deal with them how they're coming. But if it's in a way to where it's too destructive for other people, somebody eventually is going to say something, because not everybody is going to take that stuff. Somebody's going to be like, yo, you're treating people crazy. You got to change that, or you need to alter the way you are dealing with people, and if you don't, you're going to end up losing your whole staff, or if you don't, you're going to end up by yourself, or if you don't, you're going to end up having people not talk to you, or if you don't, something is going to change because of the way you're treating people. And if you don't want to, run this restaurant all by yourself and have all your employees walk out, then I suggest you change your behavior towards everybody else. This is why people will like band together at jobs and will walk out and will leave that manager that does this there. I've seen it happen. I worked at a job one time where the manager was treating people how they wanted to treat people, and they obviously was going through something, and we all knew. But this manager was just talking to people how they wanted to talk to people, yelling, screaming, still expected people to show them some type of respect and do the work with a smile. And one day I just pulled him to the side, because I was really about to snap. So I just pulled him to the side and was like, yo, we need to talk, because the way you're talking to me, I almost left, and everybody else is ready to leave. So if you're not trying to do this by yourself on a Friday night with a busy restaurant or whatever, then you need to change the way you talk to people, because nobody's going to want to work for you like this. Because I'll go to the other manager and get my schedule changed. And that's another thing too. Like, you don't always have to quit. I know some people don't like changing their schedule, but if you're in a situation where you got to keep a job for a little bit, or if you're in a situation to where you need this little position, or something in life you got to take care of, see if you can get your schedule changed. If you don't have any major responsibilities to where you have to work a certain schedule, it may be hard to adjust to at first, but at least you won't have to deal with this stressful individual. All right, because when they think that they're royalty and they think that everybody else is a subject and they're a king or a queen, their attitude is going to be very different. All right, their attitude is going to be a little rough. And the thing is, when they have an attitude like this, they just expect people to deal with it. And they think that people have to deal with it. And you don't have to deal with their attitude. All right. So with that being said, all right, they're going to want you to treat them like royalty, because anything else is beneath them and not good enough. So even though you're good to them, it's not going to be good enough. Even though you're polite and respectful to them, it's not going to be good enough. They're going to demand everything from you. And the nicer you are, the more polite you are, the better you are. It's like the more demanding they're going to be. So sooner or later, you're going to have to put your foot down, and you're going to have to chill and put your nice on ice. All right, you're going to have to put your professionalism at a certain level to where you're professional, but you're not kissing nobody's butt, because if they see you're a good person and they feel like they're royalty or they're better than you or more powerful than you, they're going to come at you like you owe them something, like you owe them the world. And that's not the case. All right. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. We out.